Julio Jones is statistically one of the best receivers to ever play in the NFL, but as time passes we can clearly see his game starting to regress, which brings us to the question we're going to discuss in this video. Is Julio Jones' career coming to an end, or does he have enough left in him to keep up the production that he's had for the past 11 years? Julio Jones is coming off the worst 2 seasons of his whole career, and as a 33-year-old receiver going into his 12th season, questions are naturally going to arise as to whether he'll be able to keep up his elite play. In this video, we're going to go over Julio Jones' incredible NFL career and find out what needs to happen in order for him to keep it going. Guys, if you like the video, please like and share it as that helps the channel to grow. Now let's get into the video. So as we know, Julio Jones is one of the most dominant NFL receivers we've ever seen, and to show you just how dominant he is, let me tell you where he stands among other NFL greats. In his first 10 seasons, Julio is 2nd in receiving yards, 4th in receptions, and 5th in yards per reception all time. So that should give you a pretty good idea as to the kind of guy we're going to talk about today. So just taking a glance at his career stats, you can already see that getting receiving yards was not a problem for Julio. I'm going to start by going over his 2012 season. He just come off a great rookie year in which he was just shy of 1,000 yards as he had 959. He added 8 touchdowns to that and had an all-around good rookie season. For this season, he was alongside some other NFL greats such as Tony Gonzalez and Roddy White. However, they were both in the back end of their careers. Nonetheless, it was still good for Julio to play alongside them and learn from them. Another great season came in 2014 when he started a massive streak of 1,000+ yard seasons. He also had over 100 catches in that season for the first time in his career, and the most receiving yards in his whole career up to that point. In that season, he had 104 catches for 1,593 yards and 6 touchdowns. That season, he was named to his 2nd Pro Bowl, with his first being in the 2012 season. This is another great year for him, and it was one of many to come. The next year, Julio had the best season of his whole career. First off, he was targeted over 200 times, which is just crazy to me, but he ended up having 136 receptions for 1,871 receiving yards and 8 touchdowns. Because of his performance, he came in 6th in the AFC AP Offensive Player of the Year voting. To me, that's kind of low just because those numbers are so rare for a receiver, so I think he should have been a little bit higher. Along with that, he was an NFL All-Pro and a Pro Bowler. So another great season for Julio, and he would continue his dominance for the next couple of seasons. The next season I'll highlight is the 2018 season. In that year, he had over 100 receptions for the first time since that great 2015 year, and he ended up having 113 receptions for 1,677 yards and 8 touchdowns. This year was also the 5th straight season in which Julio would go over 1,400 receiving yards and would only end up playing 2 more years in Atlanta after that season. In the 2019 season, which was Julio's last great year with Atlanta, he had 99 receptions for 1,394 yards and 6 touchdowns. Like I said, this was the last great year that Julio would have with Atlanta, because the next season he followed it up with a 2020 year in which he only played in 9 games. In those 9 games, he had 51 receptions for 771 yards and 3 touchdowns. So not too bad for just 9 games, but it wasn't good enough for Atlanta to keep him on the roster. The next season, Atlanta traded Julio to the Titans for a 2022 2nd-round pick, which in my opinion is a horrible trade for Julio because I think he offers way more upside than a 2022 2nd-round pick. Apparently the Falcons were looking to rebuild at this time, which I guess included getting rid of Julio, so they were just trying to trade him to whoever they could for whatever they could get. With that being said, it brings us into the next part of this video, which is Julio Jones' current situation. The situation that he's in right now is one that does not really help him at all. First off, the main source of yards on the Titans is of course Derrick Henry, so naturally Julio isn't going to get the majority yards for the offense. But to make things even worse, Ryan Tannehill isn't even a good quarterback in my opinion, so even if the Titans did throw more, it would still be harder for Julio to make the kind of impact that he once did on the Falcons. And finally, let's say the Titans did throw more and had a good quarterback, the number 1 option for Ryan Tannehill wouldn't even be Julio. It'd be AJ Brown because he's the best receiver on the Titans right now. So with all of this stacked against him, it's going to be very hard for Julio to put up the production that he once did in Atlanta, but not impossible. To start, I'd want to get traded if I was Julio, because I'm willing to bet that if he goes to any other team, it's a better situation than the one he's in right now. Now if and depending on the team he gets traded to, it's still a question as to whether or not he can be productive. With Julio already being 33 years old, the chances of him putting up the numbers he once did are pretty slim. There's not many options out there for him right now, but hopefully something will work out for him. Alright guys, that's gonna do it for this video. If you enjoyed it, please like and share the video as that helps the channel to grow. Besides that, until next time.